Great.
Well, everyone, welcome back to a very exciting episode of the Storybox podcast. Today, my friends, I'm delighted to welcome an awesome human being. Her name is Kim Perell. Now, for those of you that don't know who she is, she's an award-winning digital marketing technology CEO, top US female angel investor, and best-selling author with 20 years of experience taking companies from, get this, 0 to annual sales of 1 billion, which is a number I can't even really comprehend. It's a lot of zeros on the end of that. She sold her last company for $235 million after going broke less than 10 years earlier in the dot-com crisis. Pretty sure if you were alive back then and you were working, you can remember what those times were like. She has a new book coming out on November 2nd. It's called Jump, Dare to Do What Scares You in Business and Life. It's from one of my all-time favorite publishers, HarperCollins, in the leadership division. Kim Perell, I can go on and on about your amazing achievements, but welcome so much to the Storybox podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm thrilled to have you here. We were just speaking a little moment ago about the current situation here in Australia. You are a fan of Australia, which makes me a fan of you already. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Really excited to jump into your story and unbox it today. I'm curious, the very first question that I do have for you, which I normally ask all my guests anyway, is what does success look like for you?
That's good. I think for me, it's about how many people I can positively influence and how many lives I can positively touch.
When was the moment for you that you realized that was success for you? Has it been this gradual thing over time, or is there more of a catalyst for you somewhere in your life?
Yeah, I think after I sold my first company in 2008, I realized, just looking, it was such a journey and it was like a heartache and I'd been through a lot and it was lonely. And so it's just like, if I could just help as many people, go on that same journey as I was and, just support them in their dreams and give them tools and like the resources that I had. And like, I just felt like that would be like the ultimate goal, right? Like, how do I create more entrepreneurs? Because entrepreneurship's hard. And so really that's why I started becoming an angel investor. And, I joined a lot of boards and just advising and mentoring because I just felt like I've been there, I've done it, and I wanted to help other people. So really just like positively influencing people that may have a great idea, but didn't have someone that might, my grandma made a bet on me really early on. And not everyone has that. And I do not take that for granted at all. I just feel that there's so many people that are looking for people to make a bet on them. And I want to be that person. So if I can help more people and pay that, her generosity forward and help those people just get that hand up, like I want to be able to do that.
What do you mean your grandmother made a bet on you? What exactly did she do for you that sort of helped set you up?
I mean, literally, my journey began as an entrepreneur when the company I had worked for during the dot-com went bankrupt. And so it was honestly like, it was being like a rocket ship that, quickly crashed. And it was at that point, I was devastated. I didn't know what I was going to do. I'd hired all my friends and family. I'm like, oh, come work for me. We're going to be millionaires. It's going to be amazing. We'll all be together. And we're going to and it was like that for a very short moment on paper. And then, then you have to end up firing everyone and you're alone and you're sitting there, your entire life's just taken away from you, my identity. And then trying to raise money to take the leap into entrepreneurship after my track record of bankruptcy was not exactly like it was a really good bet per se on paper. So, I asked my grandma and I was like, I have this idea and it's the internet and digital. And she's like, I don't think that really went well for you previously, but she made a bet on me and she loaned me $10,000, which is a lot of money. And I was, it's just a big bet to take. And having, taken that journey, I really want to like monetarily, and that's why I'm invest. Like, how do I help other people make that bet? It's not just the money, it's also the confidence that she believed in me. And that's like a huge, if there's anything else you can give someone, but that belief and, just that actually is so big. Like that means so much just to know someone is betting on you and believing you. It could be like $5. It's just like their confidence gives you the strength to actually make the move and to jump.
I was going to actually go down to the confidence area because I'm curious about for yourself, did you have confidence in your ability to actually use that money wisely and start a company?
Well, I figured that, having watched both my parents are entrepreneurs. So, and I wanted to get a real job because I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. I'm like, that's hard. Like, I want actually a real job with the security. And then when that didn't work out, like the real job actually wasn't, it's like a nightmare. And so I was like, okay, well, at least I tried that. So I was confident myself to figure out, like having hit that rock bottom place of where I thought was secure, to be able to make a jump with confidence that I'd figure it out, right? Like I'd already hit the rock bottom. And so you're like, okay, what do I do now? And I just, I believed in myself, I believed in me. My grandma believed in me. And at some point you just have to decide, like take matters into your own hands and make the leap, right?
For someone that doesn't have any confidence in themselves, no one is believing in them currently, would you still recommend that they take the jump per se and they believe on themselves?
Yes, I think honestly, the best bet you can ever make is a bet on yourself. So, and not everyone has a grandma, right? Or someone that's betting on them. I do believe that's why I love to read. I love to read and I love to write and I love to impart at least the knowledge based on my own experience to other people, because growing up, I read so much, and it's like using those mentors, like people that you read about, like they're mentors of your own life. So you're thinking, okay, even though you might not believe in yourself, like just fake it. Like you can do it. Like everyone can do it if they just try. It's like the worst thing's just to not do anything, I think. Worst thing's to stand still. That's why I title it Jump. Like just move, right? Like something great will happen, or at least you move to a different place.
Do you believe that quote, faking it till you make it sort of thing is dangerous to associate it with one's identity, like being in full integrity for who you really are?
I think you have to, I think even, I look back when I was younger and I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I believed in myself. So I think you have to, even if you, as you said, if you don't believe in yourself, I faked it that I did. You have to fake that you do believe in yourself. Forget everything else. You have to actually believe that you can figure it out. Right. So, and I do think that's key because, I was young and I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't know I was going to be successful, and I didn't know how to run a company or any of those things I didn't know. But my gut was like belief. And so, like you should, even if you don't believe in yourself, fake it that you believe in yourself. Like at least you'll start moving in that direction.
Yeah. Until you actually repeat it so many times that you actually start believing in it. Yeah. I was taught that or even before I started doing this. I had no idea what I was doing. So I completely understand. It's kind of like you fall along the way, and then you have those people, like you get faced with a lot of rejection from a lot of different people, but you just need like that one yes to spur you on, that gives you an extra bit of vote of confidence to keep you going. And then eventually you start officially believing in it. I truly believe in that. But for yourself, Kim, why did you, or more or less, did you ever see yourself doing this in your life, like running a business company, being this successful?
No, it wasn't. Yeah, no, this is not my, I can imagine, I feel really blessed at like how my life is. So I can't imagine that it is, as wonderful as it is. And honestly, that's why I want to write. And that's why I want to invest and give back, because I just feel like I've been really blessed. But no, I really was just, my company went bankrupt. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had an idea. I made the jump. And I just wanted to be in control of my own destiny. I just wanted to have some control because I felt so helpless from where I came from. I was just trying to find control. And so I was willing to take the risk that it may not work out. So at least I knew if it didn't work out, then it was my own fault. I guess you can kind of live with that. You can't blame, if you're an entrepreneur, you cannot blame anyone but yourself. Like maybe you didn't execute, maybe the timing, like all these factors, luck, there's so many factors that go into it, but the buck stops with you, right?
Did you ever face a lot of rejection starting out?
oh my gosh. Like I used to say, like rejection's your best friend, right? Like, and if you're not getting rejected, you are not trying hard enough. Like I actually think rejection's like a growth zone. Even, early on I was in sales and I would always call people, I was selling them digital ad space, but at this time people were still buying like the yellow pages and online, offline magazines. So they're just like, Kim, you're crazy. I'm like, no, it's going to be big. I swear you can reach so many people online. They're like, no, thanks. Like you don't know what you're saying. So yeah, I heard rejection a lot, but I think you can normalize rejection over time. Like it doesn't hurt so bad if you get rejected a lot. You just got to be brave enough to put yourself into like a place where you are getting rejected, right?
Yeah, it kind of like becomes second nature almost. And it hurts still, like it's never not going to stop hurting, but you kind of learn to appreciate it even more. And I like how you mentioned is that growth zone, but there's a lot of people that hate rejection, if I can use that term. It's kind of like the bane of their existence. They actually stops them from doing something in the first place, like a business or reaching out to somebody, because they face that fear of what if someone says no to me? That means I'm not worth it. I'm never going to be able to do the idea that I want to do, so to speak. So how would you help someone with that kind of mindset?
I think it's about reframing rejection, right? So instead of worrying if you're going to get rejected, try to get rejected, right? Like put yourself in places where you're asking people for a discount. They say no. Ask them for $1. They say no. Ask them to buy you a cup of coffee. They say no. Ask them on a date. Say no. Like try to get rejected. Like at some point you get rejected enough. And I still get rejected all the time. Like it just is. Like it doesn't stop like the sting, right? But it's kind of like a check on if you can almost, instead of the wins, why don't you tell your rejections? Just because every rejection is actually getting closer to something else. And looking at it almost like, a game. Am I getting rejected? If I'm not getting rejected, I really do not think I'm trying, like I'm living my life to the fullest potential. So thinking of almost like a scorecard of rejection as a scorecard of people saying yes. Like how many people can say no to me?
I love that idea. And for those people that are listening, if it helps them, when I first started this, right, in 2020 alone, I sent out 4,000 to 5,000 emails to various people all over the place. And guess how many out of that 4,000 to 5,000 list actually said yes to being on the show in 2020 alone? Like literally only 400. So it wasn't, those are the ones that actually got back to you, like, and said, yeah, we're willing to give you a chance. And that's how it was. But it was one person said yes to me, but I literally I was like, if I don't do this, then I'm never going to achieve the things that I want, like my vision for what this is going to be, or even for you, Kim, the vision of what you wanted your company to be. If you don't put yourself in those environments, then you're never going to grow. You're just going to remain stuck, stagnant or whatever, and you're never going to achieve anything great. So it's kind of like this. It's a great phenomenon in of itself. Like it truly is. But what I'm interested in is for you and all the rejection that has come your way in your life, is there a particular story or one for you that sort of sticks out the most that you're comfortable with sharing?
I mean, yeah, let me think about it. I think what's interesting, just even on your story, 90% of the people rejected you. So if everyone listening thinks, okay, 1 out of 10 will say yes, then I get at least give you a metric. Get rejected, try 10 times. Likely one person will say yes, right? So I think just trying to give simple takeaways of, just listening to you, like what's the 1 out of 10? And if you're willing to put yourself out there, try 10, because I'm always thinking of mentorship or having someone like trying to find someone to connect with or making a sale. It's like 10, one will likely say yes. And like, how do you find that one, right? And it's not about, you don't need all 10. You just need one person to say, yes, I'd love to be on your podcast. I'd love to, buy what you're offering, et cetera. So I think that's a good, I was just thinking when we were saying that's interesting, and to try to make it as a simpler thing. If you were to take away, it's like, I'm going to try to 10 times, and the first 9, I'm going to get no. And it's going to be okay because I know Jane Kim did that. It's fine. Like we can use that. Oh my gosh. Where I was, I mean, honestly, like I've raised a lot of money. I've get told all the time no. So like that's just like part of the game. And I think that's important. I think I've sold big deals. They've said no, tried to strike big contract. Like people are always telling me no. I think that's important to know is that like, oh, are you scared? I'm always scared. Do you get rejected? Always get rejected. Like my life hasn't changed. It's just like in a different scale, I guess you'd say, right?
It's good to know that it doesn't matter how successful you actually end up, you're still going to face those no's and those rejections. Like that is always like, that's encouraging for me because like I always look at where I am at currently and I look at all those highly successful people and you don't know what's going on behind the scenes at all. Like you don't know how many no's they're actually facing. Like if you look at the people such as Jay Shetty's, like the kind of things that he has been able to achieve in his life, like that wouldn't have come easily either. Like it seems like it's easy, but on the surface level, but from the inner workings, like no. So
at all.
Did you find that was the same thing for you? Like through your journey, you had those like. Let me ask you, what was the calculated risks that you took that ended up getting you to the place that you are today that helped you better to overcome the rejection, if that question made any sense at all?
I think, for me, it's just always putting myself in like positions of that kind of scare you, right? And like that kind of like make you like, oh my gosh, am I really doing this again? Like maybe I should just go to the beach and hang out with my kids or whatever. Like, but there's no like the fun part's in the growth zone, and that's where it's scary. So it's like, how do you put yourself in that zone, all the time? And I think I over time normalize it. So I like to be in that place all the time because it's kind of energizing. People are like, you're nuts. But that's like actually where I kind of thrive at this point, which is in that zone of uncertainty, and it's scary. But now it's like getting comfortable, being uncomfortable is like kind of a fun place to be. But it didn't start that way. So I think that's really important, right? Like,
no, it never does. It never starts that way, but you soon learn to adapt and embrace the change, I like to say. And then it kind of teaches you a lot of things along the way. So, and I'm still quite young, so I'm still learning, which is exciting for me. And I'm learning from your story, and I'm learning from all the incredible things that you're doing in the world, which is like no doubt inspirational and is going to be inspirational for everyone that is listening and watching right now. So I want to sort of ask you, when in your life has been the most vulnerable for you?
I think for me, I mean, gosh, there's so many times. I think it's at different phases of your life, right? So in terms of like starting a company, and not knowing anything about what you're doing, that's, like a really scary place. Like those unknown places are really scary. Or when you start like buying a house, you don't know how that's going to work out, or starting a family, that's just crazy. Like the unknown of like, and, I went through some significant like challenges, even just starting my own family and going through those unknowns. So for me, just looking back, but usually, and they always say it's like time will heal all wounds or whatever that saying is. And you're like, but it's kind of true, like things happen as they're supposed to happen. It's just, you don't know that till you like look back. Like I believe the worst thing that ever happens to you usually becomes like the catalyst for something great, like whatever that great thing's going to happen next. And you just don't know what that is yet. So just knowing, I don't know, somehow in your heart, knowing that it's going to be okay and everything's going to work out, and failure's temporary, and it's like everyone that's successful has failed. Like, I just think knowing that has been really helpful.
What would be your advice to help someone in business currently that they're kind of like in that growth period, or they're even like a young person, they're wanting to start their business currently? what would be your number one piece of advice for them?
Mine would be get a mentor. Like I really I wouldn't be where I am today without so many people that have helped me along the way and people that have done what I wanted to do, right? So I think that's really important. Like not a mentor of, hey, ask a family member or friend. That's not the mentor. The mentor that's I've been where you are and I can actually like show you the way and at least help based on their own experience. And I think that's been, even for me in different parts and different sizes and scales of the company, I had different mentors, like as an entrepreneur versus like a CEO of a global company versus, different places. I just think that's been really helpful. And I feel if everyone could somehow just know that you don't know everything. Like I don't know everything. All I'm doing is trying to learn all the time, right? Similar, just I'm a total student of life. Like what else can I learn? Who can teach me? Who knows something I don't know? Trying to find a mentor, I think, is the biggest thing. So if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, it doesn't have to be someone that's, 10 steps ahead of you because that's too far. You need someone that's almost just like made it to that step and say, hey, how did you do that? Just that you can ask questions and bounce ideas off of, because I feel that that's instrumental that I could not like put a price on.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like anything is missing currently in your life?
Oh my gosh. I feel so, I don't know. I got 4 kids, so I feel like I don't even know if I could have anything else in my life.
You got 2 sets of twins. I didn't mention
2 sets
that.
of twins, 7 and under. So I don't know if there's anything missing, but
how do you manage your time around that?
Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother. I'm very disciplined in time management. I gotta be honest. So like you have to be, right? So everyone's on a schedule around here, right? So we're all working on the same schedule. That's like, I'm very scheduled. So I think that helps a lot. I've got a great husband who definitely good partner in crime. So teamwork. And then I don't know, you just do it. I think like you don't think you can, and then you just do. And the joy that you get, I think counteracts some of like the challenges that you face every day. So, I mean, for those of you that don't have kids, it's just a difference. Probably like your dog or your cat, like they just add joy to your life, right? I mean, like, I don't know if it's the same, but it does, or your friends or your boyfriend, or I don't know. I think just having a balance is so key to success in like all facets of your life, because it's not, so many people are so successful in business, but then maybe they're missing something else, or it's like, what's the balance, right? And I think it's hard, like it's really hard. So I don't, so, I don't even know if I figured it out yet, other than the schedule is key to life, schedule of everything.
I have to totally agree with you on the schedule front. It is so helpful, honestly. Like, I don't know what I would be able to do without my schedule. But then it's also like, even if something doesn't go according to schedule that day, then just be kind to yourself for the next day. Don't beat yourself up. And then even then, like, it goes to what your book is really about, jumping into the unknown and daring to do those things that you aren't really comfortable about, because you're going to grow anyway, which kind of is a great segue into your new book. It's called Jump, Dare to Do What Scares You in Business and Life. So we're just talking about the business and life factor. We're kind of like, I think we're unboxing the book a little bit during this conversation. But why did you decide to write this book in the first place, and why now?
I think there's 2 reasons. So I had written a previous book, The Execution Factor, which outlined, specifically the 5 traits that I believe all successful entrepreneurs need. The challenge that I found after writing the book is no one actually could make the leap into entrepreneurship. They're like, great, I've got the 5 skills, I know what to do, but I'm too scared to do it. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to write a book that teaches you how to go from here to there. Like, I need a bridge, right? And I think that's, and then with COVID hitting, to be honest, like, it was so blatant that so many people were stuck. And so the book really will help unstick you. It's like there's a just a stagnant zone. And like, to your point, you're just stuck. I mean, like physically stuck. So like, how do you either open your mind to something new, or open like an opportunity to like, there's anything you could do to jump into some, like a new hobby, a new business, a new anything. It's just change. I think it's really good for your energy and your positivity and your outlook, right? And just doing the same thing over and over or not doing anything is to me just like the death zone. Like it's not a good zone to be in.
Before I ask you the final two questions that I have for you, where can people get a copy of this book and learn more about your incredible work?
Oh, you can pre-order the book at jumpwithkim.com. Hopefully you will jump with me. It's not out till November, but there's an awesome free bonus that you can download if you pre-order, and it has, great takeaways that you can do now. And I think it's like never too early to start. So it's like, let's give people like an opportunity to just start kicking it off and start getting ready for that big life-changing leap.
Honestly, I can't wait to get my hands on a copy of your new book. Hopefully things start hurrying up here in Australia so I can get my hands on it. I love reading, and I love the message that your book is sending. It's no doubt going to go absolutely crazy. It's been endorsed by some very high profile people. I'm sure everyone would know who Jay Shetty is. He's endorsed it too. So, congratulations on all the amazing things you've achieved, Kim. And I have no doubt that people are going to resonate with your message and your story today. Two final questions, if you don't mind. This one, it's one of my favorite questions. I got a lot of favorite questions, but I want to ask you this one anyway. But it is, what do you love the most about yourself and your story?
Myself is just probably my positive outlook on life. Like, I just love life. And I think if you love life, life's going to love you back. So I just give a hug on life. And then my story is I started from my kitchen table, and if I can do that, anyone can do that. So I just want to remind, it's a journey, but if, everyone's got a table, some kind of table, like you got a garage table, got a basement table, just take a table and just start. And I think that's the reminder, that anyone could do it, and just start now though.
What's next for you, Kim? What's next for you? Going to start another company because you sold your last company, I believe it was not that long ago. So you're going to start another one and then scale that one, or what's next?
I did. So I just started a new company, 100.co, and we're investing in some great brands. One of them actually is called Sama Tea, which is with Jay Shetty and his wife, Roddy. So Sama Tea actually is coming out in 23 days, September 23rd. Please check it out, samatea.com. And it's really exciting. So really partnering with very authentic, passion and purpose-driven founders, but using artificial intelligence, to help supercharge these businesses. So it's kind of taking brands, which I love, people and technology, and putting the best of, perfect trifecta.
That's awesome. I could go down many, many more different rabbit holes. You're setting me up. But the final question that I have for you, Kim, is my all-time favorite question. Okay. It's a hypothetical one, but I want you to imagine with me for a moment that you've been able to reach the age of 100. All your friends and your family have decided to put together a film for you of everything you've ever said and everything you've ever done. Don't ask me how in the world they got it all. We'll call it magic for the sake of argument. But they've been able to get it and show it to you on your 100th birthday. What do you want that film to say and to show about your life?
Just that I positively changed their life in any way.
Simple but powerful message.
Yeah. For sure. I still got a lot of years. So, hey, hopefully I make it there.
You do indeed. Perfect send-off message. Kim Perell, thank you so much for your time today, for coming on the Storybox podcast. And thank you so much for everything that you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to seeing you in Sydney or in Miami soon.